So my sister recommended me a video idea for this new anime called The Shunji Family Children, a show about siblings, made in Japan? What could go wrong? As I watched the trailer, I realized a lot could go wrong when I saw this.
単刀直入に言おう。君たちは本当の兄弟ではない。
This isn't the first anime manga I've made a video on, as some of you guys may remember the video I made on Oremo. Though it could be argued that one was worse, since the siblings are biological, and not only that, but... Anyways, this anime was actually made by the creator of Rent-a-Girlfriend, a series known for its outstanding writing. I'll be honest, I never actually read Rent-a-Girlfriend, but with a title like that, I'm not gonna bother. I was considering making a video about it, but there's loads of videos out there about it already. It'd be redundant for me to add on to it. So here we are, spawn camping the new anime instead. Well, actually, I'm not really spawn camping. I'm reading the manga, which was released over 3 years ago. Yeah, sorry to everyone who thought I was watching the anime, but since it was just released, I'm afraid making a video on it will unleash the full Japanese military on me. Heck, I'm even gonna be careful with the manga, so if you wonder why the panels have a color shade to them and they pass by very quickly, that's why. Also, I'm not gonna do a whole lot of chapters for that same reason, probably 4 to 5. Though given what I'm reading, I doubt I'd be able to make it past 5. Anyways, apart from that horrid sneak peek, I'm going into this blind, so let me not waste any more time, and here we go. We start off with the oldest son in the family, Arata, asking the second oldest son, Shion, how to get a girlfriend. Shion is not helping him out here, since he apparently got a girlfriend just cause he wanted some. He keeps pestering on about the thing, even asking where he did it, like, bro, what are you gonna do with this information? You're gonna go to the area hoping that there's some residual charisma? No, you're just gonna make yourself look like a gooner, a super gooner. We're then introduced to their sisters, Oka, Seiha, Minami, Banri, and Kotono. And I'm not gonna gloss over what they're saying because what the hell? 30% woman and 60% lewd topics. Where do you get this math from? Sorry, I'm blaming the wrong person. What do you mean by this? Dog's projecting his interests onto every man. Listen here, some of us don't goon, some others goon in moderation. But I tell you what, no matter what, that doesn't lead to us having the majority of our conversations being about lewd topics. 60%, golly. What kind of conversations does this guy get to on a day-to-day basis?
You ever accidentally masturbate to young pictures of your mom?
Who the starts a conversation like that?
Each and every one of them bully our gooner of a main protagonist. One sends a dog to maul him, another calls him a virgin, she's the one that set the percentage line, and Minami is actually nice to him for a second, and the next socks his guts out. The only one that doesn't bully him is Kotono. Seems like she's the only one that actually cares about him. Future Chalupa here, I was so right here. And yet I wish I was so wrong. They're discussing Kotono's birthday and when they'll celebrate it, and meanwhile, people are staring at the sisters, making it clear to us that the family is very popular, or rather the sisters are. Arata is complaining about how people thinks he lives in a harem anime, with Shion saying you can't blame people for thinking that. Then we get a bit more of an in-depth look at each sister's personality, and each can be summed up in one word. Oldest, basic, tomboy, and shy. Shion then asks Arata about the thing Kotono said to him, and... what was that thing I said earlier? The only one that doesn't bully him is Kotono. Seems like she's the only one that actually cares about him. Oh boy. Good thing for us that he isn't interested in her because... obviously, and actually has a crush that he's got his eyes on. Whole world's just trying to rage bait this guy. They're all getting ready for Kotono's birthday, and after this horrible no-good week, Arata's thinking about the concepts of fate and destiny, clearly frustrated at it all. Their dad is also returned from some trip in Africa, and as they're all sat down, he says he has something. Yeah, let's not pretend like I didn't play that trailer at the beginning. None of them are biologically related. Will anything happen between them? Well, given the various implications, their designs, and the country this takes place, the answer is probably yes. That limit of 4 chapters I set myself due to copyright would be annoying me had it not been for what I'm reading. I just hope I make it to the 4th chapter without doing something I'd regret. He he corrects himself a little, saying Shion and Minami are actually blood related, but everyone else is unrelated, and goes on with the dinner like he didn't just change their lives for the worse. After dinner, they all talk about what they ate and how good it was, before they have to swallow the big-ass pill of every one of them being adopted. Oka is rightly upset about them finding out the way they did, but Seiha also brings up a good point that they'd have to find out at some point, and it was planned for them to find out right there. And Bond restates the most important thing, that even though they're not blood related, they're still siblings at the end of the day. And that right there is where the story should end, a nice little message to end off on. Even if you're not blood related, that shouldn't stop you guys from being family, especially the way they've been raised around each other. Great message. That means the story is over soon, correct? Lovely. Arata is still thinking about the life-altering secret revealed to them, but understands that regardless, their relationship will not— What the f? It wasn't enough that the creator can't write a good story. It wasn't enough that he's a gooner. It wasn't enough when he made siblings love each other. But he had to draw a 15-year-old wearing Shion and Oka are chatting about the secret, still in disbelief of the whole thing, and then Oka's trying to put me in disbelief, asking if Arata said anything, seemingly having a crush on him. Shion teases her a bit, and she tells him not to be creepy, but man, you're the one thinking about what to do if your sibling starts to act cold towards you! While they acknowledge their relationship shouldn't change, they also aren't ignoring the fact they're not biologically related, and Shion says there's a possibility of marrying each other— Motherfucker. Oka is telling Shion to stop suggesting something as gross as romantic love between siblings. She asks about the incident with Kotono, curious on what actually happened, and gives the correct response when she learns what happened. But apparently, the incident was worse than we initially thought, because she tried to hug him, and for some reason, instead of running away, he tried stopping her forcefully, and look at the position. I have to think, what in the world goes on in her mind? Is there no guy in her freaking school that likes her? There has to be, since we saw they have an entire fan club ogling at them every morning. So does this mean she sees all the guys in her school that are absolutely infatuated with her and ignores them for her literal brother? Apparently, Arata wants to keep it a secret, since if everyone knew, it might hurt Kotono. Yeah, that's fair. Could hurt her mental health if everyone gangs up on her like that. But if this continues on, I'm just saying, it might be time to leave feelings aside and get this girl mental help. Maybe some physical help too. Eventually, they both acknowledge that if she's still serious about it, it might be an issue. Brother, I am not reacting to that scene. Skip it. Their dad talks to a photo of his dead wife, saying the promise has finally been fulfilled, a promise that will have no consequence. Arata is still shocked that Kotono could think that way, and tells himself it's all nothing, before he finds Seiha in his room next chapter and I'm out. Seiha asks where he was, and because he obviously doesn't want her to know about that, he deflects the question. And given the way she speaks, Seiha is incredibly smart, but is horrible at basic human interaction. Don't believe me? Well, to detect her brother's heartbeat, instead of just checking his hand or something, she does this whole sequence of events, laying on top of him like that. And apparently, she was doing so because she saw the whole incident with Kotono, and wanted to see if there was any abnormality with his pulse. Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't this make her a textbook definition psychopath? She has abnormal social behavior, like doing all this just to see if he had an abnormal pulse with a lack of regard for her actions. Man, why am I even doing this? I'm giving depth to a character made by an author that clearly doesn't care. Well, maybe he does care. Cares about drawing naked minds. She basically warns Arata that now that they're not biologically related, Kotono has less reason to care that they're siblings and might still pursue him. And when she leaves the room, unfortunately for Arata, she might stop caring too. Oh hey, that's the end of chapter 4, meaning if I go any further, I may get copyrighted. Oh no! Darn, now I've got to end the video. Video after video. I contemplate my life choices that led up to this moment, and I also wonder why I haven't worked on the CCU, my passion project. Work on something that doesn't have me aging 3 times as fast. Alright, I shouldn't have to point out what's wrong with it, but it's a formality. Characters are boring. Nothing about these characters scream, oh my gosh, I wonder what's gonna happen to them on the next chapter. You already know what's gonna happen. They're painfully predictable. They're also very basic. I feel like I've seen these characters plenty of times in other anime. Now don't get it twisted, sticking to a character archetype isn't inherently wrong. They're archetypes for a reason, because they work. But you have to add something to these characters to make me want to care for them in some way. Take Kotono for example. Like I said earlier, I feel like I've seen her character in other anime already, and said other anime probably handled them infinitely better. And if you don't care about the other points, there's one point that you should care about. The pacing. How did that one quote go? They were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they never stopped to think if they should. For what reason did you have to make this? Seriously. It's almost impressive. You somehow managed to make the worst romance subgenre in anime, harem, even more unbearable. Oh, and let's not forget the fact that he drew a minor. I'm not finishing that sentence, but you know what I mean. Anyways, don't read this, don't watch the anime, don't give this freak any money that he doesn't deserve. Yes, making this video is giving him more attention, but consider this a PSA. Alright, anyways, final statements. Anyways, it's a good day to say that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching this video in its entirety. If you guys like this video for me and me alone, then please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you guys could, please consider joining the membership or Patreon to further support the making of these videos. If you guys have any video suggestions or anything else you'd like me to read, then please leave it in the comments section below. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.